Welcome to the question and answer video, which forms part of the June Virtual Public Information Center for the Water, Wastewater, and Stormwater Master Servicing Plan Update. I'll be presenting on behalf of GM Blue Plan Limited, the consulting firm selected by the City of Brantford to assist with this project. The Master Servicing Plan, or MSP, is one of several studies being undertaken by the City to help identify the City's long-term growth needs. The goal of the MSP is to develop a long-term servicing strategy for the City's water, wastewater, and stormwater infrastructure. The servicing strategies have been developed to ensure the maintenance of services for existing users and to support future growth. The objective of this presentation is to answer questions submitted by the public prior to June 23rd in response to the virtual PIC originally posted on June 9th, 2020. This presentation is the second of many steps of the virtual PIC process. Questions asked after June 23rd but before July 21st will be answered through a frequently asked questions document. The City would like to thank all respondents for their questions and comments as part of the virtual PIC process. We would like to acknowledge that the City received several similar detailed questions for a multitude of locations throughout the City. For this question and answer video, similar themed questions have been combined and answered. For site-specific questions not directly answered in this question and answer video, the City may reply directly to the respondents. How are the capacities and existing flows and demands of the water, wastewater, and stormwater system determined? The City collects and maintains an extensive amount of data relating to the existing condition and performance of its sewers, water mains, and facilities. This information ranges from detailed inventory and construction records, sewer and facility inspection records, maintenance records, water billing records, in-system flow readings, rainwater gauges, and system performance testing, among others. The balance of these available data sources are used to determine the existing system capacities and existing system flows and demands. Further, the City maintains and continually updates several tools that are used to help track and monitor the water, wastewater, and stormwater system performance. These include hydraulic models of the City's water, wastewater, and stormwater systems, as well as capacity tracking and allocation tools. For example, to evaluate the existing flows and available capacity of the wastewater sewers, the City's wastewater system hydraulic model is used. The wastewater model includes a representation of every sewer, pump station, and force main within the City. The available capacity of the sewers was determined through a review of individual sewer construction, inspection, and maintenance records, while the most recent pump station performance and capacity testing was used to determine the available capacity at each pump station. System flows were estimated using a combination of historic water billing records, in-system flow monitoring records, and pump station and wastewater treatment plant flow records. The hydraulic model is then used to evaluate the existing system performance and to evaluate how the system is likely to perform under various flow conditions. How are the impacts of growth and upgrade needs determined and evaluated, including evaluation of downstream impacts? The City's existing water, wastewater, and stormwater system hydraulic models and capacity tracking and allocation tools were used to assess the potential impacts of growth on the existing system and to identify the potential upgrade needs. For example, to assess the impacts of growth on the wastewater system, a review of the new service areas was completed to identify the potential servicing area and likely connection to the existing wastewater system. Once completed, the estimated growth and new service areas were converted to potential flows utilizing the City's design criteria as outlined in the City's linear design and construction manual. The resulting flow projections were added at the appropriate locations within the hydraulic model and allocation tool to determine the potential impacts on the existing wastewater system and to identify any downstream restrictions. If local or downstream capacity restrictions were identified, then appropriate servicing concepts and alternatives were developed and evaluated in accordance with the process described on slide I-5. The servicing review of growth areas within the proposed urban boundary expansion areas were completed based on the existing ground elevations, identified natural heritage system, and existing city infrastructure capacities. Allowances for local grading in order to simplify servicing and minimize the total number of pump stations and stormwater management ponds was considered. Further, an evaluation of servicing strategies was completed in the context of providing the best overall citywide approach, including allowances for servicing of all lands within the city's municipal boundary. What opportunities were considered to optimize the performance of the existing water, wastewater, and stormwater systems? One of the Master Servicing Plan objectives is to maximize the capacity of the existing systems and facilities. Opportunities that were explored included sewer diversions to minimize upgrade needs, optimization of facility operations, system and facility rehabilitation, and wet weather flow reduction. When will the recommended upgrades be triggered or implemented? How will the city track the available capacity of the existing water, wastewater, and stormwater infrastructure? The final Master Servicing Plan capital program will identify upgrade triggers and preliminary timing based on current planning projections. For existing infrastructure, the city utilizes its existing allocation and capacity tracking tool to monitor available capacity versus committed and requested growth allocations. Once the identified capacity triggers for infrastructure have been achieved, the city will initiate appropriate planning, design, and construction processes which are subject to available approvals, timing, and resources. How were existing forecasted capital projects considered in the Master Servicing Plan? As part of the Master Servicing Plan, the city's existing capital projects from the 2014 Master Servicing Plan and the 10-year capital forecast were reviewed. For planned rehabilitation projects, where an increase in capacity was not identified, the Master Servicing Plan reviewed to confirm if the proposed sizing remained sufficient or if there was an opportunity to upgrade by deferring upgrade needs elsewhere in the system. For planned upgrade projects, the Master Servicing Plan reviewed to confirm if the proposed project is still required, and if it is needed, to confirm the recommended upgrade capacity. For the identified environmental assessment studies, what options will be considered? For projects requiring environmental assessment studies, the Master Servicing Plan will identify the infrastructure's general capacity and servicing requirements. The environmental assessment will consider all viable alternatives that meet those identified capacity and servicing requirements. For example, the Oak Park Trunk Sewer and Water Main Extension environmental assessment will consider all viable alternatives to connect the existing trunk infrastructure south of Highway 403 to the expansion lands north of Power Line. This includes full and partial alignments along Oak Park Road and Power Line and alignments through the future development areas. Why are there more or different needs as compared to the 2014 Master Servicing Plan? The 2014 Master Servicing Plan outlined the city's infrastructure needs to address growth to 2031 within the city's previous municipal boundary. This Master Servicing Plan update addresses growth to 2041, revised growth projections, increased intensification, and servicing of the boundary expansion lands. Since the completion of the 2014 Master Servicing Plan, the city has 1. Reviewed and updated the city's design criteria and system performance objectives to better service existing and future users and to better address issues related to system resiliency, risk, and climate change. 2. Collected additional information updating the city's understanding of the existing water, wastewater, and stormwater system capacities and performance. And 3. Completed several system upgrades and modifications recommended in the 2014 Master Servicing Plan. As a result of the updated growth horizon, updated design criteria, and updated system understanding, the Master Servicing Plan update has identified additional needs. For example, in Pressure District 4, the 2014 Master Servicing Plan projected limited employment growth. As such, no water storage needs were triggered. Under the revised 2041 growth scenario, there is a substantial increase in the Pressure District 4's residential and employment growth. These additional growth needs, combined with the city's revised storage requirements and the 2018 expansion of Pressure District 4's service area, have triggered the need for additional storage within Pressure District 4. How will the future service areas or catchments be determined? The Master Servicing Plan has identified provisional service areas and catchments. Service areas and catchments within the existing system are expected to remain generally unchanged. Service areas and catchments within the proposed urban boundary expansion lands were identified based on existing ground elevations identified natural heritage systems, and existing city infrastructure capacities. Allowances for limited local grading in order to simplify servicing and minimize the total number of pump stations and stormwater management ponds was considered. Further, an evaluation of servicing strategies was completed in the context of providing the best overall city-wide approach, including allowances for the servicing of all lands within the city's municipal boundary. The evaluation of servicing concepts considered technical, environmental, social cultural, and life cycle cost factors. The service areas and catchments are expected to be further reviewed and finalized as part of the block planning process for the expansion lands, or as part of the draft plan site plan process for developments within the city's existing urban boundary. Changes to the preliminary service areas and catchments will be reviewed and considered based on their merits, provided they do not restrict the serviceability of adjacent lands and there is sufficient system capacity. How will the city coordinate with existing near-term development projects? For recommended water and wastewater projects, the city will coordinate with existing and near-term projects as part of the standard draft plan and site plan process. For the identified stormwater needs, the city plans to initiate further area-specific studies before proceeding with the implementation of any master servicing plan recommendations. Coordination and consultation will occur as part of these subsequent studies. Can the city provide further details on the proposed upgrades? Are cost estimates available for the preliminary recommended alternatives? Further project details, including cost estimates, will be provided in the final Master Servicing Plan Capital Program, which will be available for public review and comment as part of the final Master Servicing Plan document's 30-day review period. How will the project funding, or development charges, eligibility contributions be determined? The final Master Servicing Plan Capital Program will provide estimated project costs as well as identifying project objectives and triggers. Following the completion of the Master Servicing Plan and Transportation Master Plan, the city will be undertaking a development charge background study, a water and wastewater rate study, and a financial plan update. These studies will be used to update the city's existing development charges and water and wastewater rates. How will future routing of infrastructure through the expansion lands be determined? The Master Servicing Plan has identified conceptual water, wastewater, and stormwater servicing for the expansion lands, including trunk infrastructure requirements. The Master Servicing Plan Capital Program includes provisional routing of trunk infrastructure along the proposed arterial and collector roads. Final routing of trunk infrastructure will be identified as part of the block planning process. How is growth beyond 2041 and the remaining city lands being considered? Only upgrades triggered by the 2041 growth scenario were included in the final preliminary preferred alternative presented in this PIC. However, for all new infrastructure and upgrade projects, the full build-out within the city's boundary was considered to ensure all identified infrastructure was sufficiently sized to support growth needs beyond 2041 and/or configured to allow phased expansion. Infrastructure requiring oversizing to meet growth beyond 2041 will be identified in the final Master Servicing Plan Capital Program. Slide MSP 12 provides an arrow extending beyond the city limits for Park Road North. What does this arrow mean? The servicing arrows shown on all boards, including MSP 12, are intended to show the conceptual servicing of the area and not a representation of actual alignments. The arrow in light and dark purple within the North Expansion lands indicates potential direction for road connections inside and outside of the municipal boundary beyond the 2041 growth horizon. It is anticipated that all future municipal servicing to 2041, including the trunk water main extensions from the existing city system to the expansion lands, will be accommodated within the city's municipal boundary. How will the expansion lands be serviced? The expansion lands water servicing is presented on slide MSP 12. Several separate water servicing components are recommended that collectively make up the overall preferred strategy. The main components to make up the preliminary preferred strategy are as follows. Increased treatment capacity at the Homedale Water Treatment Plant. New water tower in Pressure District 2-3 to accommodate storage deficiencies in both Pressure District 2-3 and Pressure District 1. New water tower in Pressure District 4. Upgrades at Wayne Gretzky and Tollgate Pump Station within Pressure District 2-3. Upgrade trunk water mains in Pressure District 1 to Tutla and the downtown. Upgrade water mains north to expansion lands along King George Road, and upgrade water mains east-west along Linden Road and Fairview Drive in Pressure District 2-3. Upgrade water mains north to expansion lands along Oak Park and Paris Road in Pressure District 4. Decommissioning of existing King George Tank and Albion Pump Station. The expansion lands wastewater servicing is presented on slide MSP 25. In general, the expansion lands will integrate directly into the city's wastewater system at 5 key connection points. The Oak Park Trunk Sewer, that will service the majority of the lands west of King George. The Colbeck Trunk Sewer, which will service the remaining growth lands east of King George. The Linden Road Sewers, which will service the east expansion lands. And the Mount Pleasant Road Sewer, which will service Tutla. And the Woodlawn Pump Station, which will provide limited servicing to the directly adjacent lands. The expansion lands stormwater servicing is presented on slide MSP 36. It is noted that the stormwater servicing strategy for the expansion lands are preliminary and will be subject to modifications following a more detailed block-level management plan. In general, the expansion lands will be required to meet the following requirements. Minor system design to meet a 5-year design flow. Peak flow rates at outlets will be controlled to have post-development flow rates controlled to the pre-development peak flow rate. Major systems will be required to convey the 100-year design storm. Water quality will be of concern in the expansion lands. The MECP enhanced removal of 80% total suspended solids is the requirement for all new expansion land developments. Multiple subcatchments outlet to cold water creeks and will require thermal mitigation. Erosion control will also be required. How are water and wastewater servicing going to cross the river to service development off of Hardy Road? The city's northwest, including the Oak Park and Hardy Road area, are serviced by an existing trunk water main and trunk sewer crossing the Grand River. The existing trunk water main and trunk sewer have sufficient capacity to support the expected growth within the respected service areas, including growth in the north expansion lands. As such, no new Grand River crossings are proposed. Can you clarify the new Pressure District 2-3 water tower need and service area? Can you clarify the new Pressure District 4 water tower need and service area? When projecting 2041 system storage needs, storage deficits were identified for all pressure districts, including Pressure District 1, Pressure District 2-3, and Pressure District 4. The preliminary recommended strategy is as follows. Pressure District 4 deficit will be addressed by constructing a new water tower. The new water tower is expected to have an operating level of approximately 300 to 304 meters and will address growth needs within the projected Pressure District 4 service area, which consists of the expansion lands west of Balmaro Drive. The Pressure District 2-3 deficit will be addressed by replacing the existing King George tank with a new elevated tower. The new elevated water tower is expected to have an operating level of approximately 282 to 285 meters, which is an increase from the existing King George tank to allow for improved system performance. Further, to address post-2041 servicing needs for the remaining expansion lands, strategic oversizing of the tank is required. To optimize the performance of the system and to minimize total infrastructure costs, this surplus storage capacity in Pressure District 2-3 will be utilized to address the Pressure District 1 storage deficit. Pressure District 1 storage deficit will be addressed by accessing the surplus storage capacity in Pressure District 2-3 via improved valving capacity at the existing Wayne Gretzky and Tollgate pump stations, until such time that the Pressure District 2-3 surplus can no longer address the Pressure District 1 needs, which is not expected to occur before 2041. Alternatives and associated projects to address Pressure District 1 storage needs after 2041 will be reviewed in future Master Servicing Plan updates. Environmental assessment studies will be required to determine the final elevated tower locations. This concludes the virtual Public Information Center question and answer video for the Master Servicing Plan update.